Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast episode. I hope that you're having a lovely day wherever you are. The sun is shining here in Northern Ireland, which doesn't happen very often. So, as soon as I have hit pause on this record, I'm going to go out for a lovely walk down by the seaside, which I'm very fortunate to live close to and enjoy it while I can. So, today's episode, I'm going to be talking about something I don't think I've actually spoken about before. And it's a kind of a behind the scenes of what my setup is like in terms of the work that I do and the different revenue streams that I have. What was really involved, I guess, in setting those up. The reason why I'm sharing this is because, from my perspective, I think when we're looking at financial security and financial sustainability as therapists in private practice, I think the reality is that we shouldn't be depending on one sole revenue stream, i.e., one-to-one client work. I think that we should be working towards a model where we have different revenue streams that we can tap into. Because, as you know, the reality is there will be peaks and troughs in referrals. We know historically over the summer that things can be a bit quieter for some people. And I think it's good common sense to have a portfolio style of working where you can dip into different revenue streams as and when you need to, which is sort of what I have set up for myself in a slightly different way. But I'll share what I do, and then it might give you a little bit of food for thought to think about expanding beyond one-to-one as your main source of income. The little caveat I would probably say in regards to this is that when you're getting started in private practice, your focus should be on getting really clear on who your ideal client is, learning the marketing skills to attract in your ideal client, and building up a steady and reliable source of one-to-one clients first before you even think about dipping your toe into creating workshops or other revenue streams, because you need to know that you can do that on a one-to-one basis first before you expand beyond that. Otherwise, you're going to end up trying to spin lots of different plates and perhaps not getting any benefit from it. So, in terms of my setup, I have a small private practice. So I specialize in working with binge eating clients. And a lot of my clients also have ADHD. There's a very strong connection between ADHD and binge eating. I have a small caseload. So my ideal is between 8 to 10 clients that I work with. And I charge what would be considered a more premium fee. And I tend to do my private practice on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and I try and streamline all my clients into those 2 days. The reason being, I try to keep Monday clear as a day for admin, for marketing, for content creation, for getting myself sort of set up for the week. That I try to keep that Monday, most of Monday if I can, free for that. And Tuesday and Wednesdays then are the days where I do my client work. I didn't used to always be like that. I used to be doing random things on random days. It was all very, very scattered. And then I just had the realization from my brain, in order to function more efficiently, I needed to have structure around the type of work that I do on certain days. So Monday, I need creativity. I need that kind of start of week, fresh start energy. So that's the creative day. Tuesday and Wednesday are when all my clients are grouped in together. And then Thursday and Friday is when I focus more on the membership side of the business. So I bring in an income through my private practice work. And like I've already mentioned, that it can be variable. We can go through quieter periods, and that is completely and utterly normal. So from the outset, I always sort of knew when I was setting up my private practice that once it was established, that I would be exploring and looking at other ways to create revenue and to expand. And for me, it was always when I stepped away from EAP work, GP surgeries, contract work. When I stepped away from that, I very much did that with the knowledge of, I want to create my own wealth. I want to create a business that works for me, to be able to work the hours that suit me. And I just am not somebody that should be employed by other people. I need to be employed by myself and for myself. And I've just had the realization at 47 years of age that that's what works for me. So once I had the private practice established, that my niche was very clear, I had the branding, the fee structure, and everything that worked for me, I then explored, well, what comes next? And I dabbled in things like running workshops for women around binge eating, holding lots of webinars, building up an email list. And I have some digital products that I sell through my website. When I was much more focused just on my private practice, there would have held more events, more workshops, more online courses, live events. But now that I spend more time working in the membership and my mentoring side of the business, I just don't have the capacity for that. So I do have digital products. I have hypnosis audios and I have a self-study course on my website. It's not a big revenue that comes from that because I don't do any active marketing around it at all. But I do get trickles of sales that come through for that, especially with the hypnosis audios. And so it's nice to have a little trickle of sales coming through for that, especially with no active marketing. And that's really from people who find my website in search, and those low cost products are, I guess, a way of them trying out some of the resources I have. It doesn't mean that they necessarily will convert to clients, but it's giving people other ways to work with you or other ways to get support that isn't just one-to-one therapy, because not everybody needs one-to-one therapy. Not everybody is in a place to be able to afford one-to-one therapy. And so having other products, courses, resources that people can access at accessible prices is a great way to be offering your support to a wider audience. So that's my private practice. Still connected to my private practice, but just slightly different, is I've just finished my training for clinical supervision, which I'm really, really pleased about. I have the dreaded assignments and all of that stuff still to do, and that is not my forte, and I am procrastinating like an absolute champion around it, but I will get it done soon. But the reason why I decided to go for the clinical supervision training is, why not? I have 13 years experience. 6 of that is within eating disorders. I think that not to toot my own horn, but I think that I could be a really good supervisor from a practical perspective, being able to blend expertise that I have alongside the marketing and the business side of it. I thought that could actually make a really good combination for a supervisor, for some therapists. The practical side is it also creates an additional revenue stream as well. So I'm looking forward to getting up and running with some wonderful supervisees in the coming weeks. So that is kind of the private practice side of the business. And that tends to happen predominantly Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And when I start seeing supervisees, I'll try and fit that in probably on those same days, the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays as well. So getting to that, just for a little bit of a reality check, getting to that stage of like being fully in my private practice, self-funding clients, not needing to rely on EAP work, doing it all for myself, did take time. I think maybe around 2 years perhaps to get to that point of funding myself financially with my own kind of dream fit clients, around 2 years. It's so important for me to be really transparent with therapists around the time, the effort and the investment that is needed to get to these places, because I think there can be an assumption, a misconception that this can happen really quickly and easily for people. Yes, there are always exceptions and some people do fill their practice really quickly. But for me, wanting to see niche clients, wanting to charge a higher fee, wanting to fund myself, I would say all in, it was probably 2 years to get to that stage. Once I was up and running with that and things were going really well, I had learnt so much. I had invested in so much coaching, marketing courses, business training. Like I had done so much that I realized I had this whole new skill set that I wasn't using, which is being able to mentor other counselors and therapists in getting set up in private practice, in learning the importance of niching, in learning the different ways in which you can market yourself and finding ways to market yourself that really do work for you. And so when I was working with my mentor, who also happened to have a membership at the time, and we were having kind of conversations about goals and objectives, that I said, actually, I would really love to do what you're doing, because she ran a marketing membership. So I would really love to do what you're doing, but for it to be specifically for counselors and therapists. And I'm the kind of person that when a seed is planted in my mind, it's going to happen. I can get really dogged about things, a bit obsessive about things. And so if I think something's a good idea, I'm going to run with it. Sometimes that doesn't serve me, if I'm being honest. Sometimes it would do me a world of good to stop, to pause, to reflect, to ask other people's opinions before charging full steam ahead. But no, I am a kind of a charge full steam ahead kind of gal and do it and have loads of mistakes, loads of flops, loads of setbacks. But every time I do that, I learn from it. I learned so much from those setbacks and it always carries me forward. So I do have a membership now that dogged determination did pay off. And that is, let me see, how long has it been going? It'll be about 2 years in October that the membership has been running. And it was a really shaky start for me. I put in so much time, energy, effort into doing this huge, big launch. And full transparency, the first time that I opened the doors and I launched, I did not get the numbers of members that I hoped to get in. And I was so disappointed. I felt like a huge failure and I took myself off and was licking my wounds for several weeks and contemplating just shutting the doors and not bothering to even try again. But I didn't, thankfully. I got over myself, picked myself up again and took great learnings from the things that didn't quite go well in that launch. And that information really helped me the next time that I did a launch. I did it very differently and it was more successful. And I've built on that every single time. And every time I've then done a launch, the numbers of new members that come in has always improved every single time. So I feel so much more confident in that whole process and feel so much more confident in actually the running of the membership as well. Memberships are amazing. I love the membership and love everybody inside the membership. It is not easy work. Yeah, that has been a big learning, and that with something like a membership that you're constantly always you're not going to have people that are going to come in and join forever, because you don't want people to come in and join forever. You want people to come in to learn the marketing side of it, to get the support they need, for them to have the tools and resources then that they don't need to stay in the membership. So you're then constantly having to think about the growth of it, bringing new people in. And that does take a lot of thought and a lot of effort. But what is fabulous about having a membership is that it provides a reoccurring revenue. So people sign up on a monthly contract and that brings in a consistent reoccurring revenue, which is fabulous from the perspective of having some stability in finances coming in. And I have started to see more therapists that are going down this sort of route of creating membership-based businesses. I've seen people doing paid subscription on Substack, which is a similar sort of idea, or creating little membership communities. And I think this stuff really excites me, is to how therapists can get so creative, think outside the box about new ways to support their audience and their ideal clients, but not on a therapy model. And things like memberships can be ways of doing that. So I have the revenue that comes in for the membership. And I also, for people who don't necessarily want to come into a group-based membership, I offer one-to-one mentoring packages. And that basically allows for me to work with therapists on a more intense kind of time-limited basis, where we get to do kind of much deeper work and I can kind of get in and get hands-on in their practice and help them with a lot of the things that they're getting set up. And I love doing the mentoring. Something that I've more recently been focusing on and trying to create is digital products that are for therapists. The reason why I'm testing these out is that I can create relatively low cost digital products that are really helpful to therapists around their marketing and client attraction. But it gives people a low risk way of testing out maybe some of my training or testing out some of my products, that hopefully for those people that it gives them that know, like, and trust factor that they then may be interested in coming into my membership or investing in one-to-one mentoring packages. with me. So the most recent digital product that I'm testing out is called the Therapist Clarity Bundle. It's £17 and it's basically custom GPT tools that I have built with all my training around niche, defining your ideal client and writing standout directory profile. All the trainings have gone into training this custom GPT tool that therapists can then click into inside their ChatGPT account and answer the prompts and answer all the questions that the GPT asks them. And it helps them get absolute clarity on their ideal client, their niche, and then it helps to rewrite their directory profile. So it's a really great, low cost, low threshold product that people can try to test out and see kind of what my training and what my resources are like. What I've been doing with this for the first time is actually testing out doing paid ads running to this product, so that number one, it's creating a revenue for me, but it's also building up my email list. And when people are on my email list, then I can promote things like my membership too as well. That's been going really, really well. That I'm making, it's not huge profits from it, but I'm making a profit from it, which is important, that I'm not losing money from it, and I'm growing my email list at the same time as well. Again, from a therapist perspective, I'm supporting some of my mentoring clients and some therapists inside my community, supporting them with starting to work on these ideas for themselves, like what digital products they can create that they can be promoting on Instagram, whether that be a free resource or something like a low-cost product that would be really helpful for their ideal client, and then exploring things like running paid ads as a way to promote that, to earn an additional income, but also to build that list up that potentially these people in the future may be interested in exploring therapy. So the paid ads experiment, I'm going to continue doing that. The reason why I'm testing out the paid ads is because I want to try and make some of what I do automated and a little bit easier, because when I'm launching things, like when I'm launching events to promote my membership, or I'm launching like programs or anything that I'm doing, there's an awful lot of energy goes into launches. There's so much goes on behind the scenes, like weeks in advance, preparing and working for these things. So I want to find some ways that maybe I can automate and make things a little bit easier. So the paid ads is one way that I'm testing that out, and it's definitely something that I'm going to experiment with a little bit more. So that's the mentoring and the membership side of the business. And then last year I launched a new program, which is a CPD program for therapists. I launched it at the end of last year. And this is a 6-week program which is for therapists who are more established. So the membership is more for people kind of getting set up, getting started in private practice. And the CPD program is for people who are already established in their private practice, already maybe have a niche or a specialism, and that they have an idea that they would like to create a CPD program for other therapists, but have no idea how they go about doing it. So that's what my 6-week CPD program is about, and that runs twice a year, and that is more of a higher ticket price. The reason being is because of the potential earnings and outcome for the therapists that go through that program. Earnings for them is like multiples of the investment in the course. And I've had some great success stories with this program. My favorite being community member Emma, who you might know as the medical illness trauma. She's now about to run her second CPD program supporting therapists, for therapists wanting to support clients who have chronic illness. She's running her second CPD program this Saturday. And the last time that we spoke, she had 27 people, which is just amazing. She has done phenomenally well, and I'm so pleased with her. And she's created this amazing additional revenue stream for herself, which is fabulous. So I really enjoy running the CPD program, and that happens twice a year. So I'll be doing that again in November time. And then the other revenue stream that I have, which is just a one-time a year event, and you maybe attended it, and I hope you got loads out of it, was my annual summit, the Prosper in Private Practice Summit. So this ran in May of this year. It's my second time running it. Oh my God, there is so much work that goes on in organizing this summit. It's basically a virtual online event. It runs for 3 days, and I have about 30 other therapists, marketing specialists, anybody that has a specialism that supports therapists and counselors in marketing and building their private practice. I had those speakers on the summit. It's a fabulous event, amazing. The work that goes into doing it is absolutely phenomenal. But this year in particular, I was so proud of myself, and it takes an awful lot for me to say that about myself. I can be super critical, imposter syndrome galore, but actually after the summit, I was so, so proud of what I had pulled off, and the feedback from that summit was really fantastic. I ran it last year for the first time, and I think we had about 700 therapists sign up to the summit. Financially, for me, it was not really profitable at all. And again, I had contemplated not running it again, but the stubborn part of me took over, and I did run it again. And this year it was incredibly successful, and it was really profitable for me. And it was such a blessing, and it was so great to do. Number one, we had, I think, about 1,200 therapists sign up for it this time. It was great for like PR for myself, getting my name out there, for growing my email list. It created a great revenue for me. And that money was actually incredibly helpful, because that money gave me peace of mind that over the summer I could relax. I could take time off. I didn't need to worry about summer slump happening or anything like that, that I had this money that was behind me to enable me to take great time off. And I've had 3 weeks off over the summer and have had a great old time enjoying myself. So that was fabulous. And I'll definitely do that summit again, and that will be an annual event. So those are the different revenue streams that I tap into. And some of them are ongoing and reoccurring. So private practice and the supervision will be ongoing and reoccurring. The membership and mentoring will be ongoing and reoccurring. And then some are more ad hoc, like the CPD program running twice a year and the annual summit being once a year. What I'm trying to do is have a process where certain events will run at certain times of the year, and that each quarter there's probably some different type of launch or some different type of event that is happening and that is going on. Now, why am I sharing all of this with you? I'm sharing this with you just to give a little bit of a realistic perspective of what the reality actually does look like in terms of what I do and managing these different revenue streams. I'm not going to lie, a lot of work. And I think sometimes, based on what we see on social media, what we see on Instagram and things, that we can very easily get duped into this perspective that being a business owner is easy and it's all about freedom and it all comes easily. And that's really not true at all. That what you often don't see is the absolute graft and the hard work that goes in behind the scenes. And that's not for everybody. And that's totally okay if it's not for you. And for some people, they're more suited, or it's preferable for them to work for EAPs or work for different companies or work for organizations and have that the stability from other providers. And that is totally cool. But for those of you who maybe are more like me, you want to be your own boss, you want to do your own things and create your own rules and do it your way, this is just for you, I guess. Reality of how much work it can take behind the scenes, and it never really goes away. That it takes time, investment, and energy. And I have invested a lot in working with coaches and mentors and different people over the years, but it never goes away in the sense of when you are self-employed and when you're a business owner and when you're responsible for creating your own revenue. Your brain is always working. Well, mine certainly is. Your brain's always working on ideas, on how to improve things, on how you can tweak things, on how you can change things. Like I've said about all the setbacks I've had. I've had flops in launches and things that I've done. So I'm always trying to learn from those things, to adapt, to change. And it's always evolving, it's always changing. There's always something new, a new idea and a new process that I'm working on. Now, a little bit of that is probably connected to not yet diagnosed ADHD, but it's a reality for anybody who is self-employed and anybody who is a business owner, that it's not easeful and it's not all freedom and it's not all that this is so easy doing this, that you have to put in the work and you have to be passionate about what you do. You have to be driven. And there is nothing more resilience building than being a business owner, because it is all on you. And that means that sometimes you do have to take hard knocks. Now, it's not all doom and gloom because I love what I do. I love the buzz, actually, of creating my own financial independence and security, something that I never had before. I'm very fortunate in that I'm married and we have financial stability behind us, and in the past that I didn't need to worry too much about how much I was earning. And a lot of what I earned through all of the EAPs, community organisations, all the places that I worked before, it was almost like my income was just pocket money. It was a nice little extra, but I decided for myself that I didn't want that I want to be successful. I want to earn a good income, and I want to make money to be able to afford to do the things that I want to do and to have that kind of flexibility. And that feels really great. And I'm really, really proud of myself that I've managed to do that. And it does afford me the flexibility to be able to dictate the hours that I work. So I'm recording this on a Wednesday morning at 10:30. And once I have finished recording this and I hit pause, I'm going out to meet a friend for a lovely walk and enjoy a couple of hours off. And I have the flexibility to be able to do that. And I work for myself and don't have anybody else telling me what to do. So if you're listening to this and you are someone who would like to be creating your own financial stability, would like to be ideally working just for yourself, it's absolutely possible. If I was to think about what are the things that really made it possible for me, definitely investing in getting help and support. And I appreciate that there's financial investment in that, but it helps you cut through so much noise. It helps you cut through trying to wing it and trying to figure out things for yourself, and getting guidance on people that have already done it and can support you on it, I think is incredibly helpful. I do outsource as well where I need to. My brain is often running 10 miles ahead with different ideas and different plans. So I do have a VA. So there is an investment there who she supports me, helps me stay organized, and takes some of the tasks that for me are either just too mind numbing or they're too attention to detail focused that I won't do. She will do for me. And when I'm doing big projects and big launches and things like that, I will often invest in additional support through admins or VAs or technical support to help me with doing those things as well. So that's another bit real talk as well, is that often when you're doing a lot of these things, that you do need to invest in support, and that obviously is an expense that comes with it as well. So I've shared with you the different kind of revenue streams that I have, the different incomes that I have. Some of it isn't applicable to you, but some of it might be. And maybe there could be a little seed that gets planted, and you could start to think about what might be the other opportunities that there are for you, that beyond the one-to-one, like if you're established in your niche, you know who your ideal client is, where could there be these creative opportunities to bring in additional revenue? Could you create digital products to sell and to promote that your ideal client might be interested in buying? Could you create a course, or could you create a workshop and run some sort of a program? Do you have a specialism that could be turned into a CPD program for other therapists? I think that this is where, in this current climate, whilst there is a lot going on in the world right now, whilst things can be challenging from a business perspective, what we do have also available thanks to technology and thanks to things like AI and thanks to all these online platforms that we have at our fingertips, that there's never actually been an easier time to be creative and to create new offers, new services to promote. That's really exciting. And sometimes it's just about stepping outside the box, thinking a little bit differently, and looking for the opportunities. So I hope that this has maybe stirred up a little bit of creativity in yourself. I hope it's given you a little bit of broader perspective and a reality picture of maybe what does go on behind the scenes of what you see. If you do have any feedback on this episode or you do have any questions for me, do feel free to get in touch. You'll probably find me the most on Instagram. I tend to hang out there more, and my handle is Prosper in Private Practice. Feel free to send me a DM. I will pop some links below to all of the things that I've mentioned around the products and my membership and mentoring. I'll fire all of the links in the show notes below if you are interested in getting in touch. But have a great day, whatever you are doing.